Good morning, everybody. This morning we're going to have a look at the ALUBAT 43, or the chantier as we call it in France is ALUBAT. Right, starting at the sugar scoop or transom. It's quite similar with a lot of aluminium boats. Obviously you have this really nice scoop aft. There's no real need for a transom. Swim ladder is just located here for access if you want to put a wind vane or for an emergency an outboard motor. Starboard and port, obviously you have some storage behind. I'm not going to open it today because it's absolutely lashing down and I don't want the owner's stuff getting soaking wet. The owners are actually living on board at the show here. As you can see, over on the starboard side you have your hot and cold freshwater shower head, tap, and then underneath this central box is your storage for a life raft. Twin helm, aft helm. As you can see, they have integrated in aluminium. You have a really nice arch aft. If a lot of water gets on the lens, I do apologise. And obviously you have solar panels, and obviously here you have your lines for lifting your dinghy, your tender. This central section here lifts over to close it off, and obviously you have security wires to finish it off. We're going to start over here under both helm seats. You have a large locker, and as you can see there's the access hatch from behind. Key bits and pieces, your electric cable, and it gives you access importantly to your steering. Have your emergency manual bilge pump here, and obviously deck self-draining. There are two options you can have done here. You can either have longer benches and your wheel round, so there's no winch here. You have twin winches over here, or as these owners have chosen, benches look short because they've, by the hard top, they've got their cover there, which is very, very practical. They chose to have a primary winch here, which is the option I would choose. It's very, very practical when you're on the helm. Main sheet, obviously jib, genoa, or you can have your furler, your furling lines. Really, really practical. Same on the port side, so you're not having to basically move yourself from the helm at all for all your systems. So here, starboard side, I've got a Lumar electric 48 self-tailing winch. And you can see your electric winch there, and security for your harness or life jacket. On this helm, they've got the pedestal attachment or instruments attachment. I'd have it on both helms, but that's just my preference, and obviously it costs more money. Bow thruster, I won't take the covers off. Autopilot, repeater, and obviously your chart plotter. There's a very easy step to get up on the side. We'll go around quickly, I think, as they've got people waiting to come on. Brilliant, I can tell you, because it's peeing down with rain. Absolutely brilliant non-slip surface. And just here you have a Lumar self-tailing manual winch. As you can see, all your sheet runs through the deck. You have a deck management system all the way forward, and we'll have a look up at the mast at the minute. With the hard Dodger is obviously solid aluminium. There are great grab handles everywhere and on top, so it's really easy to get around. Flexi solar panels, and there is a hatch that opens up, well, slide back basically to give you ventilation in there if you wish. Adjustable back stays, and then coming forward you can see it's on a German mainsail system. There's your Vang. When we get into the cockpit, you'll see the bank of clutches. Obviously you have all your lines, all your reefing lines, everything come along, and then into a bank of clutches into the cockpit. This will be the controversial point for me with jib cum genoa tracks being inboard, especially if you have inboard outboard rigging like this. I think for jib staysail it's absolutely brilliant, but to manage your genoa lines through the same track I think is a bit, if it's done because they want to keep the decks clear, then you know, so be it. I'm sure you guys, let me know in the comments below if you can think of another system to be able to do it. Both port and starboard, you have access to quay or pontoon either side. Really nice wide decks, and the handles, I don't want to get rain all over the lens, but I'm not having to bend down all that much to get to the grab handles. I'll give you an idea of the height. You've probably got about 2.5 to 3 foot of height to your cabin top here, so very easy to get hold of the handholds, and they go all the way forward. A very nice big flush deck, all on slip. If you want, you can have cork, flexi teak. Big fan granny bars once again for security. Here you can see obviously lazy bag. I should imagine there's an option if you want in mast furling. It's entirely up to you. I'll speak to the guys about that. One of the features I like about this boat is actually the way the hardtop and the windscreen is done. It's very similar to the Garcia, but obviously doesn't slope inwards as it does on the Glacier. I like this. There's plenty of light, and you'll see when we get inside. So you have a forward hatch centrally. I'm not going to open the forward locker, sorry about that guys, but there is spare sails, fenders, there is lots of room. I had a look yesterday, we didn't come round with the camera yesterday, maybe we should have done. Obviously jib or staysail, however you want to set it up. This is on a furler. And then obviously forward you have your Genoa double barrel roller. Obviously being aluminium, it's integrated into the hull, and you have an attachment point forward for a Jenica, code 0, you know, spinny, that sort of thing. As you can see, your windlass is here. There is an electric remote and chain locker. It is absolutely huge, very voluminous. I don't want to undo the mooring lines while we've got this wind and rain. Cockpit's really easy, very easy to move around. On the port side helm, autopilot, repeater. Once again, it depends on how you're sailing. If you're sailing as a family or a couple, you know, this configuration is fine. For the second module here, it's just for ease of sailing really. And something I would like too is to be able to control my anchor windlass from here and have a chain counter, but you know, it's personal options. It's what you want. Once again, switch for your electric winch, same as over the other side, self-tailing Lumar 48, same over here. There is a lazarette underneath this seat. Depends on the configuration you have on workshops or cabins. This one actually goes down to a cabin, so I'm not going to open the hatch because nobody wants a wet bed, especially during a boat show. And obviously the same over here. Your compass is set up centrally in the table, which is perfect for keeping watch. And obviously both your leaves of the table go out either side. And there is, we'll have a look. The Dodger is brilliant. I've been sat in there for about an hour talking with the owners, bone dry, nice and warm. It's definitely an option I would have. And obviously if you want to, you can have a soft cover granny's bonnet that comes over here too as a sunshade. And here, obviously under the table, all your drink storage and everything else. Port side, you have an electric Lumar 48 self-tailing winch, and obviously as you can see forward you've got your bank of clutches, most of it Genoa, reefs, so on. And then the same over on the starboard side, there's your other reef, your spinnaker line, Jenica, blah blah blah. These are your main halyards. Here, self-explanatory. That's that window you saw up above, so it pops up, slides back, and you have two forward opening hatches in here. Really, really good. And the way they've managed the electrics for the solar panels, it comes down a tube, and just above your companionway top, you have your B&G repeaters and USB charging. Let me get my wet gear off before I go down inside, because I don't want to get, well, obviously I don't want to get their boat all wet. Okay, something I really like about the companionway is your boards slide back, lock in anywhere you want, and then if you want to, see this clever little gadget here, you can lock it down here, put a board here, so that you have constant airflow without completely closing off your companionway, which I think is absolutely brilliant. 3 easy steps down. So while we're here in the saloon, you can have a raised saloon, as is sort of normal. So if you see the nav seat there, obviously your saloon seats will be at the same height, so when you're sitting down you can look out through these windows. The owners chose to have one level central living, which would actually be my option. It's really nice, very open. They will start over here on the port side, aft double, and underneath there is the hatch that goes through into the lazarette. So you do have some storage. Opening hatch that goes into the cockpit. Nice port light window with a slide privacy blind. And you have another opening hatch here with a curtain. It's really, really nice. To give you an idea of head height, can't see myself on this camera. I can just, I don't know if you can see that, I can just touch the ceiling in this entry area of the cabin. Underneath the bed, obviously that's different, but even then I'm not having to duck my head that much. So good space. You have access to mechanical department here, reading lights, and a nice hanging locker. Just here, this boat is set up with heating and air conditioning, and there is a nice access area for, you know, as you can see, you've got your main switches for genset, winch. Easy to get to, very, very practical. Just by that cabin, you have your navigation area. Main switches, as you can see. Don't need to explain that to you guys. If you're new here, please consider subscribing and hitting that like button and commenting. If you're new, just say hi, you know. Digital display for water, diesel and so on. Iridium Go, obviously that's the owners. Being these guys are going off around the world. B&G, VHF, Fusion Stereo. Here is your Victron digital display for your batteries, and you know, so you can see charging and so on. Obviously water pumps, and then a B&G chart plotter repeater, which is absolutely brilliant. It's a nice spot, and sat at the chart plotter, you know, imagine yourself at sea or in an anchorage, you have really nice view. So, and there is, I won't open it up because it's got their personal stuff on it. You have an area for keeping charts and paperwork. There's a reasonable amount of storage underneath the seat, plug, and your thermostat for your heater, aircon. Plenty of drawers, self-closing, so 1, 2, 3, 4 drawers there. And then centrally in the saloon, you have a drop-down table, so if you wish, you can convert this into a really large daybed. The table will fold over, so you can shrink the table and it will spin round and have it as a coffee table if you wish. Won't go in here, they got personal stuff in that cupboard. So you have a cupboard, 2 shelves area. Obviously there is storage underneath the seats. There's a port light over there, the privacy windows are shut. And up here, ventilation, both port, forward and starboard. And you have an opening hatch up above, and same here. You'll note grab handles. It's a brilliant bit of kit. Freezers are under this bench, sorry. And under here you have your space for your lifting keel. There is storage underneath. Maybe we'll get in here, give you guys a look. Tank, and diesel tanks will be on the other side. I quite like, as you would have seen as you come down the companionway, you have an extra island centrally. Really nice fiddles, really handy for, like you said, glasses, cups, you know, all your bits and pieces, your gubbins. So there's 3 self-closing drawers there, which is really nice. And then to the starboard, to the right of your companionway, you have your day heads. So, electric freshwater flush toilet. This is a really nice size head. Wash basin, plenty of storage and bits and pieces. Obviously, toothbrush and so on. Don't need to go into it too much. Really handy drawer and cupboards underneath the sink. You have a heater control, lights, opening hatch for ventilation there, and a separate shower, access to black water tank or whatever behind. I can't see myself with this GoPro. We got 2 for doing the boat tour, so once again, I mean, you have the same height pretty much throughout the boat. So if you're 6'5", 6'9", you know, plenty of headroom. There's plenty of room to move about. And while we're in the heads, obviously normally this door would be shut. You can have another cabin here, or this one's been set up so you have a day bed from passage, but it's actually a workshop. I love it. The way they're putting in workshops on all these boats now is absolutely fantastic. Ventilation opening hatch into the cockpit, and as you can see there, you can get direct access if you need to. Just to my left, there is a washing machine. As you can see, they've got all their cushions stored up here at the moment. Normally it'd be spare parts and stuff in there, but you know, there's another cupboard just here and a drawer over there. You have access to steering behind, and then you have your Panda, it's an 1100 generator. Freezer, you'll be able to see your Victron charger and distributor there. Oh, saltwater filter for your generator. Few main switches. Once again, you know, I don't need to explain this stuff to you guys. If there's, like I say, if you're new and you want an explanation on how all this Victron stuff works, let me know in the comments below, and we'll do a dedicated video for it, and you know, how the solar works, batteries and so on. Freshwater filter for the engine. There's your shaft. Some Ocean Volt batteries there. I'm going to speak to them because I think that this might be the hybrid electric. Should have asked before coming around. I'll find out. Coming straight forward, same level, it's brilliant. You have a longitude or inline galley. Great Corian worktops, and if I show you the back of these fiddles, they're actually curved underneath. 1, so it's easy to clean, and 2, gives you a really good grip. 3-burner induction hob gimbal stove as normal. We'll do the drawers and the cupboards in a minute. Cupboard here, obviously mirrored on the left. You have an opening hatch, so all your vapours while you're cooking can disappear at anchor. This is something, actually spoken with the owner about this, because this is something she loves and I think it's absolutely brilliant. And when we build our boat, I think we're going to look for the same sink. It's absolutely brilliant. So you don't need your dual stainless steel sink anymore. As you saw, you've got your chopping block section underneath for draining if you want. Thank you. So as you can see, self-draining. You have a slidable stainless steel tray for bits and pieces or washing salad or food. Drops down into the sink for if you've got stuff draining off and driving, and it also works as an oven tray. So you have a top tray that you can use for soaps and bits and pieces like that for bread, or you know, cook and use bread, and you have a draining section below. Fresh and salt water, so obviously you got salt water pump there and hot and cold fresh water. I love these taps, bendy taps. I think they're absolutely brilliant. Put them where you want. Just over here we have mains plug, so if you have a blender or, you know, a small pod coffee machine or something you want to plug in, can go in here. And obviously some lower port lights, it lets some extra light into the boat. Look at that, brilliant. So while you're washing up, plenty of storage under the sink. Obviously that repeats itself on this cupboard, and you have drawers.
Very large one.
That's really good. Almost full width of your walk-through, which is great for utensils and cutlery drawer. And obviously down below you have a shelf cupboard. It's undoing one of my layers, guys, because it's very warm in this boat. Obviously if you had the gas gimbal, your gas shut off would be underneath there. Because this is electric, there's a cupboard or a drawer that's, you know, full of, well, anything. You can put anything in there, all your saucepans, oven trays. It's just great. This boat has been really well thought out, and the back of the chair in the saloon, as you can see, there's a grab handle. It's just been very well thought out. I think when ALUBAT started building these, they looked at other boats on the market, took the best and sort of said, how can we improve? I do like, you know how I am with the fridges and freezers, or fridge, however you want to do it. These guys have actually set it up so it's in line centrally with the boat, so it doesn't matter what tack you're on. The more boat manufacturers should take note that whatever tack you're on, you can still open and close the drawers without worrying of it suddenly shooting open. You imagine if they're set up here like most boat manufacturers do on the other side, the drawer's either going to shoot open if you're on the opposite tack, or it's going to be really hard to open because you're leaning right into it. There we go, moan and grumble over. Mast compression post central, obviously, and then to the owner's suite you have two very easy steps down. There is a very large semi-island double, almost king size, very comfortable. Being that you're slightly lower down in the boat, obviously it's going to be a lot quieter, more insulation, warm and, you know, just snug. You have two really nice port light windows and an opening hatch, and that will give you, see the hatch there, it gives you access to services, your chain plate and so on forward. There is some very handy, I'm not going to open all these, owner's privacy. You have two very handy storage sections either side of the bed, usable shelf. And on the reading lights, as you can see, which is brilliant forward, there is a USB charger on the lights, so you can plonk your mobile up on the shelf and charge away while you're fast asleep. Nice shelves. You'll notice that all the cupboards are ventilated, so you're not having to worry about condensation. Then obviously condensation leads to mold, so you don't have any of those problems with the vents in the cupboard, which is really nice. Obviously this is heated and air conditioning, and a huge hanging locker with storage underneath. If you have a look underneath the bed, there are four very large drawers. If you like the tour, let me know in the comments below. If you think I've missed anything or you'd like any more information, please just, once again, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you very much to all my subscribers for sticking with us and watching the videos, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.